what's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and we're starting off with NFL today. We're going to let the NBA board populate a little bit more, but man, are we excited for what we have ahead of us today on Thursday, November 21st. We've been getting really pumped on any Steelers games. Like, the Steelers have just been fun to watch, awesome. Like, they look really good on both sides of the ball, and there's a lot of fantasy value to be had, regardless of which way the game script goes with this team. So we're pumped. This should be a fun matchup. Not a super high over under, but yeah, for fantasy, there's a lot of gems that we can look at. So we have 4 picks for you. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop us a comment if you have any questions about props. And we wanted to shout out Joshua Torres, 9625. He had this really cool idea for the NBA video. We think we'll do with the NFL as well, but he said it would be cool if people could post their favorite plays in the comments, and then Jordy and I will look at all the plays, and our favorite play that we like to hit, we're going to pin it to the top so viewers can see the play that we selected from the community. And if that play hits, we'll shout you out in the next video and talk about what pick was there. So yeah, if you guys have plays that you like, that you want the rest of the community to know, just drop it in the comments, and we'll pick out our favorite one. And in addition to that, yeah, if you have questions about plays, we've been having a lot of fun, just looking up these plays with you guys and getting back to you in the comments. So yeah, if you guys don't mind, do us a favor and like the video. I feel good, man. I feel like today could be a good day.
Fun game.
Yeah, fun game, and we can mix and match with some basketball. We had some close calls last night. It got me super hyped for today, and then coming into NBA Cup tomorrow, Flex Friday. Like, I'm excited, and we're a week out from Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
A week from today. So. It's awesome
Happy
time
holidays.
of year. Happy holidays.
It's here, baby.
Yeah, man, dude. I've been already listening to Christmas music.
I don't care. In the living room right now.
I know
It's
some
bumping.
people are out there. They're like, "Oh, I can't stand Christmas music." I'm like, "You're crazy, dude."
Yeah.
That's
what we
I
call
love
a
this
Grinch.
time of year. Yeah,
We don't like
yeah,
Grinches
exactly.
around here.
For real, man. I've been telling my wife, I'm like, I want this to be a long Christmas season. So
Yes.
we're going to start decorating before Thanksgiving and do it up and get in the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
All right. So we're still running our promo with Parlay Play. If you have not signed up with Parlay Play yet, there's a lot to be had right now. You're going to get 100% deposit match up to $100, a $5 promo play on top of that. And then we have a situation that we've worked out where you also get 30 days in our premium Discord as an added thank you, because when you sign up and you use our code, which is Backdoor, you're helping us out, and it means a lot to us. We're very thankful for the support. So we want to send it back with 30 days in our Discord, because it's been a lot of fun getting to know some of you guys who are checking out the Discord for the first time. So you have to make sure you use the code, which is Backdoor. If you don't use that, it won't activate the Discord. But if you use that code, you just email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com. And we just need your Discord username and your Parlay Play username. And they update us every day with the usernames of who used the code, and we'll get you in the Discord immediately as soon as we confirm with them. Never usually takes longer than 24 hours. We've had some people who hadn't made their first deposit yet, so you don't implement the code unless you're making your first deposit. So in situations like that, it takes a little bit longer. But if you're using that code, then we'll get you in as soon as possible. Yeah, and we're also partnered with Underdog. And I gotta say, man, all these platforms are kind of killing it right now. I've been enjoying Underdog, Chalkboard. Sleeper has been a lot of fun lately. Like, they've been running all sorts of promos, and also Sleeper has such a wide variety of options. Like, a lot of times the players that I'm looking for aren't necessarily the big names on teams, and on Prize Picks, they've been kind of like slacking on getting us some depth unless it's like 20 minutes before the game starts. But Sleeper has been putting those plays up early. So Underdog, yeah, I've been making YOLOs, just building the bank account slowly, but yeah, Underdog's a great spot for YOLOs where you can just like make a crazy slip, put $1 on it, and hope you cash for $175. Like, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, use code BACKDOOR at Underdog. They're going to give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. And they're always dropping boosts and discounted plays. And so definitely take advantage of that. It's good to diversify the platforms you're on. Just make sure you use code BACKDOOR for, I think most of ours are all Backdoor. I think Sleeper might be a little bit different. I think we could get Backdoor on there, but all of our information is in the description of the video. If you're looking to sign up for a new platform, yeah, use our code. Helps us out. We really appreciate it. So let's talk about the plays. I got to go with Jerry Jeudy over 9.5 fantasy score. Going for the fantasy score, getting that on Parlay play at 9.5, and then I'm going with Chris Boswell for over 6.5 total points on Parlay play. What I really want is his fantasy score. They did not have that, so neither does Underdog, but Underdog has some good options. So the kicking points are at 7.5. I still like that to go over. 6.5 is just so cheap. Parlay play is good about like you'll just randomly get plays every single day that you're like, this is way cheaper than the other platforms. But 7.5 kicking points I like. I'll break down other options I like as well. Jerry Jeudy's fantasy score is at 8.05 fantasy points because it's half point PPR on Underdog. And then on Prize Picks, we're getting Jerry Jeudy at 9.5 fantasy score and Chris Boswell at 8 fantasy score. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to be going with Elijah Moore over 3 receptions and Najee Harris over 12 fantasy score. We're getting that on all platforms. Najee's just a little bit different on Underdog, obviously, because it's half point PPR, but going with that on all platforms.
All right. Well, this over-under is a typical Steelers over-under, 36.5. Which is most of the time the range it's in, unless they're playing a team that can put up a decent amount of points. But I think this goes over the 36.5 line personally tonight. We have the Steelers favored by 3.5. We're playing in Cleveland, so it's going to be a fun night. I'm really stoked for this game. Let's start talking about, we'll start with Boswell. So obviously, I mean, dude went for 24 fantasy score last week and he was on my bench in Dynasty. Oh man, that was a tough one, but I like him to go over 8. He's cleared this by a lot. 4 out of his last 5 games, he's gone for at least 14. And so the reason I want the fantasy score is I want that extra yardage. Last week, he had 3 field goals over 50 yards. So that's why he went for 24 points. We know he can get it done, from those distance, like long distance kicks. Dude's been super solid. And yeah, he's exceeded this. Okay, that's telling us what we already know. If we take a look at the kicking points, it's also been really solid. So you could literally take any of these you feel more comfortable with. I just want that. I want that credit for, the 50 yarders. I think he'll get at least one that is 40 plus tonight. It is a tough matchup. The Browns are kind of stingy, 4th in kicking points allowed. So keep that in mind. The head-to-heads, his last outing, this is from last year, though, totally different regime, much worse offense. But he only went for 4 kicking points in that last game. And then the game before that, he went for 8. Let's look at the fantasy score. Yeah, see, the fantasy score was up at 12 in that one that he hit because he probably had some long distance in there as well. But yeah, I feel good about him getting this done. Even though that last game he played against them, he didn't get it done. I feel like the Browns are going to be able to have at least a few moments where they're able to stop them in the red zone, or and I mean, with the way he's been kicking, they'll just send him out. Like, why try to go for it, especially a 36.5 over under. If it's only a 3.5 point spread, that's not suggesting like a blowout. Like obviously last week when I took Brandon Aubrey, man, he would have cashed, and then they get that penalty, it calls the kickback, and then they get right up to like the 10-yard line, and McCarthy goes for it on 4th instead of taking the points. But then once the game is out of reach, if it's a blowout, they just stop using the kicker. So I don't think we have to worry about that tonight with only a 3.5 point spread. And if the Steelers are playing with a little bit of a lead and they get down there, I think that they'll just keep taking the extra points, So I feel really good about this play, but I do like the fantasy score the best. Let's take a look at Daily Grind. They don't have the fantasy score on here last time I checked, but they like his kicking points to go over 7, which I think would end up cashing our fantasy score as well. 51.4% odds to hit the over on the 7 kicking points, minus 124. FanDuel has it down at 6.52, just like Parlay Play, but that's a minus 146 to go over. So yeah, I'm really comfortable with this. He's going to get extra points as well, but I think he's good for I think Outlier liked his field goals made to go over. Yeah, minus 165 for him to go for 2 field goals. So I think that if he goes for those 2 field goals, we're cashing that fantasy score. So yeah, moving on. We got Jerry Jeudy here, who has been popping off, looking good these last 3 games. The matchup, relatively solid, 18th in receiving yards allowed, overall receptions, 12th in receptions allowed to wide receivers, 14th overall as a team. And these last 3 weeks have looked pretty solid. 5 receptions, 7 receptions, 6 receptions. I want the fantasy score because I think he has a chance to get into the end zone. But even if he doesn't, this full point PPR especially makes me excited to take this. The targets have been awesome. Oopsie daisy. The last 3 weeks, against Baltimore, he had 8 targets and then 11 targets against the Chargers, 11 targets against New Orleans. I feel good about this. 23rd in receiving targets allowed. And I think that a lot of these wide receivers, like Jameis Winston, has been awesome about really spreading the ball out. Unfortunately, the odd man out has been Njoku, which he's still been decent for fantasy, but I'd like to see him get a little bit more involved. But that just goes to show what Jameis has been doing, spreading the ball around, making guys like Cedric Tillman look good, making guys like Jerry Jeudy look good, Elijah Moore, like he's getting everybody involved. So I'm really liking this fantasy score to go over 9.5. I think that kind of says enough about that. If we take a look at Daily Grind, they like the longest reception as the best play, 19.5. They have that at a 50.75% odds to hit the over. So they don't have this stuff very juiced. They like the fantasy score to go over 9.5, but it's just barely. It's a 50.27% odds to hit the over. A lot of these platforms have the line set knocking on the door of 10 fantasy points. I think he's going to go over all of these. If this was at 10.5, I would be taking it. I would take this at 11. That's just me personally. On the full point PPR platforms, I think he's going to go over this. I mean, 4 or 5 receptions for, if he's averaging like 10 yards per reception. Let's just take a quick look at what he's been averaging. He's averaging 20.6 yards per reception over these last 5 games. 35 back here against Philly. Yeah, the lowest he's done was against the Chargers, averaging 10.4 yards per reception. So, if he gets 4 catches, I think he cashes this, because I think a couple of those will probably, if he's averaging 20 yards, that would cash us right there just on 4 receptions. But I like the upside of him getting into the end zone. If he happens, like coming off 2 games with 11 targets, if he goes for like 6 or 7 or even 5 or 6, he's totally going to cash this. So I feel really confident in this play. Happy to be taking it. That covers my plays. There's not really much more to look at on Daily Grind for this particular play. If you guys want to check out Outlier, you can try it for free. We say it every video, but I'm telling you, this is an awesome tool. And you can use it for basketball, football. There's baseball. They cover multiple different sports, but they give you so much information. Like, I just love all of the breakdowns from every statistical category. You can go by year. You can look at head-to-head matchups. You can check. You can take players in and out of the equation. If a guy's out, I could just take him out, and then it'll show me what my guy has done with that player not in the equation. It's just really impressive, everything they give you. Matchups, injury reports. They have this insights tab that they just show you plays they like. They show you the platform that it's on, and they give you a little explanation of why they like it, to the over or the under. So go check it out. It's free for a week. You can take advantage, use it all through the weekend. It'll even, I mean, like, you get it all the way up to Thanksgiving, which would be nice. But yeah, all you have to do is go through the outlier link in the description of the video. Don't have to put a code in or anything. Just sign up through that link, and they're going to hook up all of our viewers with a 7-day free trial. All right, Jordy.
All right. Yeah. So to get into mine here, I'm going to be covering Elijah Moore first over his receptions. I think this looks great. Since, what's his name? Winston's taken over. He's been great. I mean, he's been heavily involved. The last 4 games, 6 receptions, 8 receptions, 3, and then 6 again. Heavily involved in the target share. He went 6 for 6 against Cincinnati. He had 12 targets against Baltimore in that crazy game, 9 targets, 8 targets. So he's being heavily targeted with Jameis Winston. So I really like this a lot. I'm going to be taking this for the over, obviously, for over 3. I just think it's a great matchup too. 12th in receptions allowed. If you look, let's make sure there's nothing glaring on the injury report. No, they just have a whole lot of defensive players hurt. So, great matchup here. I really like this for Elijah Moore. I think he's been a really pivotal part of this offense too. And honestly, like, I've been a Elijah Moore fan for a long time. When he was with the Jets, I liked him a lot. I thought him going to Cleveland in the beginning would have been a great thing for him, but then it just kind of never boiled down to that until Winston started. So it's been looking great. He's getting a lot of separation. He's a great route runner. So really a fan of this play. It's a 52.68% chance to go over and a -130 as well. And it is still being slightly favored at 3.5, but this 3 line is really, really good. So try to get this at 3 for sure. I would take it at 3.5 though, for sure. But at 4, I'm probably looking somewhere else. So next up, I got Najee Harris's fantasy score. I love this. Najee's been awesome. I was really hard on him coming into this year. I mean, last year he just did not look good. He had a couple of big games, but I mean, he looked slow. He looked out of shape. There's just a lot of things I did not like about Najee Harris for a long time. But over the last couple of games, he's really played himself into good shape, and he looks really good. He looks fast. He looks strong. And he's a big dude. So I mean, it looks awesome. He looks like a smaller Derrick Henry right now. So, obviously not that dominant, but he's running the ball really hard. So love this for him. If we look at the matchup, let's take a look here. So in touchdowns allowed to running backs, they're 15th overall. They're 25th. If we look at rushing yards, let's see here. Receiving yards of running backs, they're 4th, so a little bit tough there. Rushing yards, they're 11th. But rushing yards allowed total, they're giving up 24. They're 24th. So obviously the running back rushing yards is a little bit tougher, 11th, but I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be able to get this done. If he gets a touchdown, which he's been scoring quite a bit over the last couple of games here, ever since Russell Wilson's come in, it's just given this offense a whole new life, and Najee's been scoring the ball now. So I like him to get in the end zone against this team, and I think even if he doesn't, I think he can catch his fantasy score. He's been doing it against Baltimore. He hit 13.3 fantasy score, and I don't think he did not score in that game. So he can get it done without scoring the ball, obviously, but I think if he scores, I think he's just going to crush this line. I think he'll go for like 20. So that's why I like this play. I think they're going to heavily utilize him. I think they're going to try to establish the run game early. If you look at his rushing attempts, the dude's getting almost 20 attempts per game. I mean, he's averaging, let's see here. He's averaging about 17.1 rush attempts per game. So the dude is just, killing it with the attempts. I just think he needs to, if he capitalizes on this like he has been, I mean, you can see he's going for 100 rushing yards a lot. So I think in a matchup like this, in a game like this, I think they're going to establish the run game early. And I think he can get it going. And if he gets in the end zone, I think we just crush this line. If we take a look at the fantasy score here, it's favored to go over just slightly. It's a 50.01% chance. So it's really just a 50-50 shot. But I do like this. I mean, if you look at any of the other plays, like the rush attempts are juiced over, so that's great. It's a minus 122 for the rush attempts. If you like that, go for it. They're minus 140 at 16.5, so I think he'll definitely go for probably 18 to 20 rush attempts in this game. I just like the idea of if he doesn't and he goes for like 15, but he scores the ball, this is cashed anyway. So that's why I like the fantasy score tonight. Honorable mention real quick. Calvin Austin's longest reception I think looks awesome at 11.5. This dude's a deep ball guy, so 11.5. He's gone over this every single game this year except for against Baltimore. So I love this play. I think Calvin Austin's longest reception at 11.5 looks great. Just as a little honorable mention there. But yeah, that's gonna cover all of mine. If you guys want to check out Daily Grind, definitely check them out. I mean, they'll help you cash more for sure. Their optimizer is what we use. As you can see, they have 3 different tools here. They have the middling tool and the AI slip generator as well. We use the optimizer for everything. I mean, it helps us find plays, it helps us vet plays, and you know, if you take away Najee and you just look at all the top plays for the NFL, I mean, they've already got it loaded up for the Sunday slate, so you can find a whole bunch of value on here, and they'll just put the top plays right on your radar for you. The top play right now for NFL is Jameis Winston under 14 fantasy score. Be careful with that one. The fantasy score is just finding a discrepancy because other platforms have them at 12.5. So they're just showing you that you have value here. So the fantasy scores are always weird, but obviously Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown is the top play for the over. Obviously, yeah, that's a huge play. Minus 145. He only needs 1 rushing touchdown. So that's a huge play for sure. But that's the cool thing about the optimizer is it puts plays like that on your board. Like in a big giant board like this, it's kind of hard to find value like that just from the naked eye. So going on here and finding it like that, it really helps you out. So definitely go check that out. If you go to dgfantasy.com and use code BACKDOOR at checkout, and they'll give you 25% off of your first purchase. And then if you want to check out Chalkboard, they're another DFS platform, just like Underdog and PrizePicks and all that. But they run a ton of specials over there. I'm probably going to play them tonight and probably some sleeper. I do like what I have right here on PrizePicks. I'm going to lock these in as well. But I've been having a lot of fun also just bouncing around all different platforms and playing these super low slips like you can't play on PrizePicks. Like you play for like $1 and just create massive YOLOs. Me and Russo are guilty of doing that a lot. So it's a lot of fun. But definitely go check them out too. Use code BACKDOOR at checkout and they'll match your first deposit up to $100, and they'll give you a free play to help you cash your first slip. And yeah, it's going to cover everything for me.
All right. Yeah, another honorable mention. You know, I was saying Njoku's kind of been the odd man out, but it was really just that one game against the Chargers, but he still went for 7.9 fantasy score. So yeah, these honorable mentions are just giving you guys a little bit of extra analysis, but not our official picks. But I think his fantasy score looks pretty solid at 10.5 tonight. His receiving yards look pretty good too. The matchup is middle of the road, 15th in receiving yards allowed. Outlier likes his receptions. If you're looking for an EV plus play, I believe. Yeah, they got this as an EV plus. That is pretty solid. I don't know if that's what the line's at, 4.5, but he has gone for 5 receptions in 5 games straight. 22nd in receptions allowed to tight ends. So yeah, you have our official picks, but we enjoy hanging out with you guys. So we'll, you know, in a situation like this, we'll mention a couple other plays that we might be throwing into our slips. But yeah, if you guys, oh yeah, and you were talking about Calvin Austin's longest reception.
Yep.
His receiving yards alone looks pretty good too at 14.5.
Yeah.
If he catches one, I mean, like, yeah, he's had a couple, like, because that last game against Baltimore, he had a couple close calls that if he could have come down with the ball, that would have cashed it. But even as a demon, 29.5, if you were looking to roll the dice, like demon plays are rolling the dice anyways, but 29.5, that dude could get that done in 2 catches. He could get done in 1 catch if he breaks one off. So I like a lot. Like it's kind of crazy that they have his line so low because he could pop off any game now. Anyways, yeah, a little bit of extra value there. If you guys want to come join our Discord, we have a lot of fun in here. Work together as a community, and we've been getting close. The Discord's heating up. Like a bunch of us like have been super close to cashing some 6-mans. I feel like tonight's the night. We're gonna lock in a 6-man and we're gonna eat. I can feel it. If you want to join our Discord, you can take advantage of the parlay play situation we have going on. Where you get 30 days free if you use our code BACKDOOR, or you can go straight through Patreon. If you sign up through Patreon, that manages our subscriptions for our Discord. You just go into settings once you've signed up, and there's a connected apps option in the menu bar, and then you can log into your Discord right there, and hop in the community chat. If you join, let us know you're new so we can kind of show you around, welcome you to the family. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. If you want to follow us on our socials, it's just at BackdoorFS on TikTok, Instagram, X. Me, Jordy, Moose, our other analyst, we're all on X as well. We have all of our handles in the description of the video. So come say hey, but have a great night, guys. I'm excited about this slate. I hope you guys are too. We'll catch you in just a little bit for the NBA picks.
Good luck, guys.